All right. Hello, Idiots on Parade, the Too Ugly for TV podcast. We mock the news so you don't have to. With me, as always, is Jake Vevra. Hello, Jake.
How's it going?
All is well here. I am Nathan Timmel, stand-up comedian in Iowa City. Jake is a stand-up comedian in New York City. And not going to lie, we always tell you up front, hey, we are recording in advance. As you watch this, we will be unable to record, so we got lucky in the last one in that we didn't record, and then Trump got shot at. We actually were able to talk about it. So if anything happens over the course of the week, before...
I'm sure it'll be a slow news week.
Yeah, I'm sure. What is today, the 13th? So if anything happens before the 20th, and we're not talking about right now, like, oh, shit, someone took a shot at Biden, or, Trump shit his pants on stage, or Kamala came out as, lesbian, anything.
If someone shot the sheriff, but they did not shoot the deputy, we're not talking about either thing because it has not happened yet.
It has not happened. So what we're going to talk about is Jake watched a documentary. I watched a documentary, and I think we both saw one. So we're going to talk. Jake, you go first. You watched Man of 1,000 Kids on Netflix. Is that what it's called?
It's pretty good. Yeah, Man with 1,000 Kids. It's about a dude named Jonathan something. I wish I could remember this guy's name. What's up?
Like massive sperm donor, like above and beyond the Superman of sperm donors.
Serial donor, they call him. You mean he's nice enough to give kids breakfast? No, different kind of cereal with an S, not a C. He was in the Netherlands, and he was apparently going to a lot of these different sperm clinics, and legally they say you're only allowed to donate, I think, to 25 different people, but there's like no regulation within the industry. So it's pretty
he can
much
use the same name. It's not like he was changing names and like, no. I'm Bob Smith. I'm John Smith.
And even if sperm clinics are doing it on the up and up, they're not really talking to each other. So, I mean, you could donate at one clinic and then go donate at another one, and that's just that. And we knew there was a lack of regulation on sperm clinics in the U.S. because there was a doc called Our Father who, did you ever see that one?
I believe I did. Wasn't that with, I'm drawing a blank on his fucking name. God damn it. I'm trying to make a joke about the movie with the guy from Swingers and Lost World and not Owen Wilson, but the tall one with the dark hair.
I don't know. Just know that your ability to draw references at a moment's notice are in question. And
yes, they are.
But
Delivery Man is the name of the movie. I can't think of the fucking actor's name.
Man, you're going for these obscure movies that I don't even know what you're talking about right now.
From Wedding Crashers. It was Owen Wilson and Wedding Crashers. Who's the other one?
Oh, Vince Vaughn?
Vince Vaughn played
the guy. You're doing Vince Vaughn deep cuts right now?
What Delivery Man, a Vince Vaughn comedy where he delivered sperm to a bunch of people.
Oh, Christ, I do remember that. Yeah.
With Chris Pratt. I was trying to do a Vince Vaughn deep Delivery Man cut, and I blew it. I completely fucking blew it.
No, I know. I'm glad you brought it up, though, because that was a comedy about what is a very serious thing that's being unearthed right now.
Yeah, the sketchy industry of non-regulating sperm donors.
Right. And in that one, it's just sort of like hey, this is just going to be a heartwarming thing where I go and I play catch with my donor kids. But this guy is just, he's donating to hundreds and hundreds and thousands of different people throughout the world. And the one in Our Father, that was different. That was the one it took place in the U.S. It was a small town in Pennsylvania, I believe. There was a guy running a sperm clinic, but he was a doctor who ran a sperm clinic. He was using his own sperm. Yeah. And it wasn't just like,
that's how you do it.
Yeah. I mean, it wasn't just women who were getting like random donors, it was also like, it's a fertility clinic. Couples would go in there who were having trouble conceiving, And he would just, he would tell the husband, yeah, just jack off in this cup. And then he would take and throw that cup away and fill up his own cup. And he would, dude, and it was wild. And so there was couples who, I mean, they were interviewing families where the dude was like, I thought I was raising my own kid, and she's 20 now, and I kind of want to kill her because I'm fucking mad at that dude now. I mean, he wouldn't say that, but
Yeah.
they were pissed. They wanted to kill the guy for sure.
I was gonna say they probably still love the kid. They just hate the fucking guy.
Oh, right. Yeah. And so we've known for decades that sperm clinics inherently lie to desperate women, because they'll be like, okay, here's our donor list. We have gold medal Olympic athletes. We have doctors, we have billionaires, and we got all these guys to jack off in a cup in this strip mall for $25. So who do you want to pick from? They all look like Brad Pitt as well.
Let me interrupt you for 1 second, because I have a little behind the scenes information on this, because I tried to be a sperm donor in college. There were a bunch of us from our dorm floor, the floor of our dorm room, that went, like 4 or 5. I don't remember exactly, but we looked up the clinic. We said we should do it at least once. And when we showed up, oh yeah, that waiting room, first of all, you went at like 6 or 7 a.m. because you have to go outside of the scope of the fertility clinic hours, because they don't want the women seeing the guys that are there, because it was, we were the cream of the crop. College kids were the cream of the crop, because outside of us, it was fucking unemployed homeless guy. It was like the guys that didn't feel like being plasma donors but still needed a hit of something were in there trying to be sperm donors. Now, at least the one we went to, this was in Boston. We all got rejected.
No one was sitting there going, hey, I got practice for this professional football team in an hour. Do I have time to beat off in this cup for $50 before then? The NFL draft is in a little bit. I gotta be there because I'm probably going first round. I can beat off
TikTok. I got a Nobel Prize to pick up. They're giving me my Nobel at a breakfast, and I need to make it to that breakfast. It's 7. I gotta. Yeah,
I got 2 things on my calendar: curing cancer and beating off in this Dixie cup for 2 figures.
So yeah, we fucking 20-year-old losers were the fucking like, oh, but none of us made it, because when it comes to like, so the doctor that was throwing away the sperm, you need an incredibly high sperm count, and they have to be the strongest, because they freeze it and put chemicals in, and then they try and I had low.
They got to be little Navy SEAL sperms.
Yeah, because going through the process of getting infertility, a lot of them die. So you do need the cream of the crop. So if you do find someone that can fucking do it, I would imagine they'd want to hold on to them, because especially with sperm rates decline. This was fucking however many years ago. Now sperm rates just keep dropping among American men, at least. So yeah, it makes sense that the one you're talking about, what was it? Did you say Finland, Norway,
right? Yeah, this was in Holland, but
yeah.
But he was going around the world and doing it, and we knew at least the clinics in the U.S. were.
Wait, I got to interrupt really quickly again. He's going around the world doing it. Is he independently wealthy? Because we were going to get paid like $50-$100 a shot if we did it. Like I said, we'll give you $75 a shot for your trial run, but if you get accepted, you get like 2. So you'd have to be donating a lot to be buying airline tickets around the world to afford.
Well, I don't think most of his money's coming from this. They didn't really say where he made his money. He's got a YouTube channel, which is pretty hilarious. I did watch one of the things on there, and he's sitting there going, and I guess he talks about crypto on there a lot. So I think he just got into crypto super early, and he screams crypto, bro. When you listen to this fucking guy talk, he screams Dutch crypto, bro. And when you say Dutch crypto, bro, you mean it's an NFT of somebody farting underneath a blanket? No, I mean a literal Dutch crypto, bro. But he's sitting there talking. And I watched one of them, and he's talking about why he didn't want to do the Netflix doc, which is real easy to figure out why you wouldn't want to do the Netflix doc. Well, because they're basically trying to press criminal charges against me, and I didn't want to incriminate myself. Now, that's the real answer. That's the honest answer. No, he's sitting there going, I don't like it because Netflix tends to drag people down. They clearly follow a certain ideology. Their logo is red and black, so I think you know what ideology that is. He moves on from that. I thought he meant they were
solid Nazis. Accent, by the way. Solid fucking accent.
Yeah. I mean, it's all right.
Solid
7 out of 10.
accent. Good job.
But yeah, he's babbling about, yes, I like energy and getting back to nature, and they don't do that at Netflix, and so I don't like them. Also, and he finally ties it back to, I'm like, where's he going with this color thing that of the logo?
The
I'm
red
thinking
black.
he's going Nazi. He's like, he just shows a satanic label underneath that's also red and black. He's like, look, they're clearly working with the devil, and I don't support the devil. And it's like, yeah, also they're trying to incriminate you for some weird shit you're doing. Like, why are you leaving that out?
I Yeah. So what was the end result? Is he in litigation right now, or where did it? How many kids? So did they say he basically fathered 1,000 kids around the
I
world,
mean,
or
they don't really know for sure, man, because these clinics were fairly
they don't keep
underregulated, and then
records?
not really. I mean, and then they don't talk to each other. They to figure out like, oh, this person donated 25 here and 25 there and 25 there and 25 there. There's no way to do that. And we knew they were underregulated in America, like I was saying. I figured if nowhere else, like Europe and especially the Scandinavian countries, which are kind of known for being regulated. I mean,
Sticklers, yeah.
right? Yeah. I mean, I figured if nowhere else on the planet, that place was going to be pretty heavily regulated, but no, not so much. He's just kind of doing this a lot there, but he was also doing it privately. So there's a lot of people who will just kind of go on Craigslist or whatever looking for spunk. And so he's a private spunk slinger, as they say. And he's just, he's doing that there. And some of the women he would actually sleep with too. He'd do it naturally. And he was then going around the world doing this. So they're just kind of estimating how many kids he has. And I mean, they think it's in the thousands, but there's some other guy that he was doing this with, who apparently they would get like a private transaction. They would both beat off into a cup, and he was beating off in like public bathrooms and then bringing people the jar at like Burger King or whatever. Like, here you go. And
I can't beat off if someone else is in the house with me. How do you do it in a public bathroom?
well, no offense, you're an amateur masturbator. This guy's real good at it. I'll bet he can get it done within a matter of minutes. I'm talking like one or two. He's a minute man.
I'm married and have kids, and it's like one of those things like, holy shit, the house is empty. Ooh, I can do this. And then you're in there and you're like, oh, is that the garage door? Like,
well,
so
that's why, no
you got
offense.
someone pounded on the door like a Burger King going, hey, why is this locked?
I think that's why when you were in college, they sat you down and they were like, this kid doesn't have what it takes. He doesn't have what it takes to have 1,000 kids someday. You know what I mean? He's not
to do it then because I was young and virile, and plus they put you in a sterile medical room by yourself with, and this is not a lie, I know this is an old hack joke, but this is the absolute truth, Sears catalog. Now, when my wife and I went through, so this is more than you need to know, but when my wife and I, we were both infertile. Like my sperm couldn't do it, her eggs. So we used in vitro fertilization. When we went to the hospital here, oh yeah, I got DVDs and whatever. You went into the room to give your sample. They had it ready. At the fertility clinic there, Sears catalog. You had to look at women in underpants and do your best at 7 a.m. This one's like, oh, make an appointment. And it's still awkward because you're in a hospital, even though they make the room like, hey, here's, you can't, no lotion because you don't want lotion getting in the mix with the stuff. You got to, but you don't use lotion after you're a kid anyway. You dry, Jack. But, the whole point is
sure.
Sears catalog. That's what it was. I could do it with a Sears catalog.
I dry Jack because I like to get back to nature. You know what I mean? I like to be all natural. But if I went in there, I'm like, dude, you want me to pick up crusty mags other dudes were using? How about I just use my phone? Am I gonna churn my own butter? Am I gonna make my own lubricant from scratch as they did in the pioneer
days?
This
is before the days of phone when I was in college. I have not told this story in a long time. I don't know if I've ever told it to you, but this is a hand to God true story. So I used to make a joke out of this. When I had to go for the in vitro to get the kids with the place, the porn, the joke, and I said it was true, was purchased by women. It was like that soft core where you put it on and it was like a romantic dinner and conversation. And I'd literally be fast forwarding going, what the fuck is going on?
Oh, I'll bet these guys are going to come real hard to the story.
Yeah. I mean, but they'd be giving a massage. It's like, oh, let me give you an erotic massage. And the guy, I'm like, a woman bought this because this is
Yeah.
romantic.
Yeah.
She what? And then I found out like 5 years later, I have a friend that's a nurse at the college, and she said, oh, yeah, yeah, there's a woman in charge of buying. I'm like, yes, a woman did buy all that erotica. You need to have a guy that just, like now you don't need it because of the internet. But back then, you just right to the point. Cut the dinner, cut the massage, cut the conversation. It's
That's
literally,
right.
yeah.
She was a fucking DEI hire. That's right. They go, oh, we got to have a woman break the glass ceiling of porn buyer for a sperm clinic. She's the
Well,
first female porn. She's the Jackie Robinson of female porn buyers for the sperm clinic. She's the first one we've ever done.
I might be inventing this. I'm not positive. So this is just maybe fancy memory, but I think I was told that she was buying it because she wanted to keep it classy. Like she actually searched for, you know, better quality, not just raunchy. And I'm like, if you got a bunch of guys going in there, just give them what they want. So she was trying to
Right.
classy up the fertility treatment room.
I can't have guys getting sperm to donate. That's not Christian friendly. This is a family valued sperm clinic.
Right. They have to be watching a Mormon sex through a sheet, through a hole in the sheet, because that's pure. If I know that a load went into that cup while he was watching a load go onto a face, then that's impure. That
Yeah.
baby's going to be a Satan child.
This whole video is just a woman in a burqa. What are we doing here? What are we doing, lady?
So overall, recommend the doc. Good thing.
Oh, it's great. Yeah,
what
man.
What was the resolution? Like, I get tired of watching documentaries. There was one where it just sort of builds and builds and builds, and then I can't remember what it was, but the end result was the case is ongoing. Like, don't do a documentary where you tell me that. What was was there an end result in this? Is he still being investigated?
No. The case is still ongoing, but I think it's still an important doc to have because it's one of those where without regulation in place, without laws saying you can't do this and here's the punishment, then he will be able to keep doing it. So basically, like the other one, the Our Father one, that guy who was using his own sperm, and they didn't find this out until decades later with 23andMe. People's 23andMe's were coming back going, by the way, did you know that you have 127 brothers and sisters within your small town community? And you're like, what the fuck? And there was like, so like they keep finding new brothers and sisters with him, and they're calling them up. There's one lady who they were on the dock. She's like, yeah, I called the new ones, and they're like, yeah, hey, hi, my name's Crystal. I'm your sister. And there's 157 of us and counting. Do you want to come to the barbecue next weekend? And
you've missed 34 birthdays. Pony up. We need presents.
Yeah. Well, so for doing this, this doctor who was out of practice by now because he was doing this in the 80s and 90s, he got a $50, $500 fine. Because like
there you go.
Fucking laws that might, that this might fall underneath is like, they were written before fertility clinics were a thing. So anything that might be like medical malpractice or sexual assault or anything like that wasn't written. So it'd be like kind of sort of like giving someone a speeding ticket in a flying car. It's like the laws, the language needs to update.
I got the perfect example for you. I live in Iowa still, where you're from. I don't know if you know this, but animal cruelty laws in Iowa are like singular. So if you have a puppy mill and you've abused 50 puppies, you get 1 count of animal abuse. So it's kind of like that. It's bullshit, and it needs to be
kind of the way
updated.
it is too. You know, I mean, there's just not a whole lot of, especially global legislation. Forget about it. And it's a very self-regulated industry. And so really the focus,
just like Republicans like.
Yeah, I mean it's they keep big government out of the sperm clinics, and we're seeing weird results from this. There's actually a comic out there if you guys want to follow her, Laura High. She is not only is she hilarious, but she is a sort of a donor kid activist, for donor conceived persons, as she says, and she's trying to get regulation into the sperm donor industry because there's a big problem where you're the donor kid and you don't know a lot of information about where you come from because of medical information,
medical history. You might, but yeah, what if do I have Alzheimer's and Parkinson's on my family? Yeah.
And so all the laws tend to be made are either A, non-existent, or they tend to be geared toward helping the donor, not the
Remain
donor
anonymous.
family.
Yeah.
And so that's kind of, what a big problem is. And then there's just a lack of there's a lack of transparency within the industry, lack of regulation in general, lack of sort of a system of communication between the clinics, So if someone's going clinic to clinic to clinic, for the most part, there's not a whole lot of way to tell that they're doing that. But there was other guys that they were talking about in this doc who were basically doing the same thing, and they're going to different countries doing it. And if you think there's not a lot of regulation in the sperm industry here, try fucking Thailand.
Yeah.
I mean, it's crazy. And there was there was a white supremacy guy who was also kind of doing the same thing. And he said that he was going to colonize a different continents with white sperm. And I'm like, all right, racism aside, which A, pretty racist. B, that's not how that works, bud. If you have a baby with, he was doing this in Kenya, you'll have a baby with a Kenyan woman. If she stays in Kenya, she's most likely that baby who will probably be light skinned, but he will have probably a baby then with another full Kenyan 2-3 generations later. It's just going to be a Kenyan baby. Like, you're not going to, when the Moors conquered Italy, for example, and there's a lot of people with dark hair in Italy now.
True romance, best movie ever, best scene ever.
A lot of language I wouldn't repeat, but very good scene.
But
they break it down pretty well. But it wasn't just one.
Dennis Hopper can say it. Watch Dennis Hopper give the speech.
It wasn't just one dude in the Moorish army who went and had one baby via sperm donor and then went back to Spain or whatever. No, it was the whole country got occupied by the Moors. That's how you actually change the bloodline for centuries. You know what I mean? It's not like so by going and being a sperm donor. So not only is he a white supremacist, he's just plain fucking dumb.
Well, most
clearly not the master race. If he's making plans like this, is what I'm saying.
All right. Did you watch any Shiny Happy People, or was that one on me?
That one was on you. I watched the first episode.
I thought you might watch
Kevin
one
Spacey
last night or something. But all right, so the doc I watched, and I didn't watch all of it because I'm going to do something weird here. Shiny Happy People. I think it's on Prime, and it's about the Duggar family. But basically, all it does, in a way, is it tells you not only what you already believed, like, oh, these are horrible people that are just dumb and into a cult, and it's worse than you think. But what I'm going to say here is, first of all, anybody that says they love God as much as Jim Bob Duggar and the mom, there's one thing they love more than God, and that's money. Because once the money starts coming in, we have this show, 19 Kids and Counting. It becomes all about promotion, and they say Jesus becomes a front, like, oh, we're a holy family, but we need to sign contracts. What I would recommend to people more than the documentary Shiny Happy People is I read Jill Duggar's book, Counting the Cost, the kid that got out, but she didn't leave religion. She just she didn't leave the family. But she separated herself. She realized what was going on with the cult that the parents got into, and how that created their family, and how the TV show manipulated everyone, and how her own dad. She says, I love my dad. Jim Duggar is my dad. I love him, but he stole all the money from us. He signed contracts that kept him in control of our lives, because that cult was sort of one of those things like, until you're 18, you do everything for the parents. So if you're on TV, you get nothing. And then he tried to get them to sign contracts saying that, okay, we're going to film your wedding, you get nothing. We're going to film your honeymoon, you get nothing. And they fought back, and it created a big rift. She's like, hey, if we're doing this, we should get, like, I think she saw the books and saw the tens of hundreds of thousands of dollars they were making on the show and realized she was getting screwed. But the documentary Shiny Happy People is sort of, I don't want to say exploitive, but it takes a viewpoint and sort of picks it like, oh, we're going to expose this for the evil, and that means it's biased. But Jill Duggar's book is on the inside. This is me growing up in a cult and having a realization, and I found it much more fascinating than the documentary. I found the book because like I said, the documentary is biased. It's like, we're going to talk about this family and how bad they are. And she's talking about growing as a person. So I found it much more interesting, the book. because the
Yeah,
doc is not based on the book. They are two separate entities. As maybe I didn't make that clear.
it is kind of a fun thing where they're going to be like, yeah, our whole thing is, it's this religious thing, this Christian thing, where we're worshiping this hippie who rode on a donkey and didn't have shoes. But we need a private jet
Yes.
to do that. We're gonna, also we're keeping most of the money, so we don't. We ain't about sharing.
Yep. All right. Well, as
We're
said,
turning the other
listeners,
cheek to look at our bank accounts. That's what we're doing. We're getting paid. We're getting paid.
as we said up front. Oh, and there's the timer going off. That was almost perfect timing. As we said up front, any news that we missed this week, it's because, I feel bad. I lied. I got to come clean right now. Jake is having a sex change operation, and that's why we're unavailable to podcast right now, is because Jake is having a sex change. Remember before it was transitioning, it was actually called a sex change operation? The old days when it was before
Yeah,
it was
it's
transitioning.
reassignment surgery now. You dead named
Yeah.
the operation.
Yeah, I dead named the operation. No, I'm in Tennessee as you listen and watch this, and
Nice.
so we will be back live on whatever comes after 7 days from right now. But Jake, good seeing your face. Viewers, watch Man of a Thousand Kids, read the Jill Duggar book, Counting the Cost, I think it was, and we'll catch you on the next one. Thanks.
The man with 1,000 kids had way more kids than the Duggars. Fuck those guys.